Yep.
Hello, and welcome to an episode of Drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a comedy podcast dedicated to the mysterious. My name is Cassidy.
My name's Amanda.
And what is up, everybody?
What's up, guys?
You know, I've had many comments, many DMs, many questions asked through various social medias when my hair is going to be purple again.
Oh.
And here we are. It's purple.
I had no idea where that was going.
We had an accidental purple moment.
I feel like every time your hair is purple, it's an accident.
Anytime my hair is purple, it means something went terribly wrong in some other process.
But I would say terribly right.
Like this time it was my scalp was being really sensitive, so I didn't want to put too much bleach on it. And then so I just didn't get my roots as lifted as I wanted to. So I was like, I'll just use a little bit of this like purple dye that's like super diluted to just like lift it or like, you know, balance out the brassiness. But instead it just made my hair purple.
I say keep it up.
Thanks.
I love the purple.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. My fiance was like, this morning when I was getting ready to come over here, he was like, your hair looks really good, actually. And
it
I was
does.
Like, thank you.
It's giving ombre.
That's what my friend Danny said. She was like, I love your hair. And I was like, thanks. It was kind of like a hodgepodge, like accidental moment situation. And she was like, it looks like you got it like you did it on purpose and like it was professional. Like someone smart did it. And I was like, well, someone smart did do it. It was just me.
Well, I could argue that.
We all remember last week's episode, okay?
We did indeed go to Jupiter and get more stupider. So
we did. Sorry about that, guys.
But no, every time you do your hair purple, I'm like, because I have that fucking pink hair spray.
Why don't you just do it? You love having pink hair.
I love it so much and it's so fun, but I always just think like, no, I have to do it for like a special event like Midsummer Scream.
No.
But I could just do it whenever I want.
Do it whenever you want.
I know.
You don't have a job that where it matters.
It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. Nothing matters, guys. Like nothing matters.
I love to fully take advantage of the fact that I don't have a job where like the way that I dress, how I look, my tattoos, how I present myself matters. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, do not have that freedom.
Right.
So I feel like I'm doing it for all the freaks out there who are stuck in their corporate jobs and they can't live their full freak lifestyle.
You know what?
I really got to let the freak flag fly.
Freak flag fly. Freak flag fly. Freak flag fly.
Big weekend coming up. I'm grilling.
You are grilling.
And chilling.
As you should be.
Yeah.
As you deserve to do. Yeah.
What else am I doing? That's it.
I'm going to be working and twerking.
Well,
and probably crying.
It's like the slowest day of the year, probably next to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna guess.
Yes. Super Bowl, St. Patrick's Day is really slow. Really any like holiday that involves drinking and grilling.
Yeah, they're not going to your restaurant for that.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm typically a bar person, but we're just hanging out in my father-in-law's backyard and grilling.
Yeah.
Bringing out the old grill, the old battle axe.
There you go.
Battle scars. Sorry. I just watched all the Twilight movies again.
You always watch the Twilight movies.
I always watch everything all of the time.
That's true.
I be watching. Like, it's so funny because I'm always making fun of you of how much TV and stuff you watch, but I watch way more movies than you.
Yeah, I'm like a TV show girl, like reality TV.
But also I rewatch shows all the time. Like I'm rewatching 2 separate shows right now that are like multiple seasons. Buffy and the 100.
You're watching them simultaneously?
Yeah, it just depends what mood I'm in.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I can't do that. Like once I start something, if I'm doing a rewatch, that's all I can focus on.
Oh, see, I like to be rewatching 2 things that are different so I can, like, if I'm not in the mood for one or if I'm in the mood for another, or if it's getting to a part of the show that I know is real sad or real hard to rewatch, I'll like put it off. I'll watch the other show for a few episodes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get myself into that mode.
Yeah, it's a good mode to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's like me and Andrew, we also have shows that we watch together, right? These are like these are my alone shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have shows that we watch together. And it's like we usually have like one drama and one comedy that we're rewatching. So that's like depending on the mood of the night. Like if we're, having dinner and we're having a glass of wine, it's like, yeah, you can throw on the drama. But if like it's goofy and we want to half look at our phones, like put on Vice Principals or Righteous Gemstones or Kenny Powers or whatever, you know?
Yeah,
He's bending down.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like the person that when I throw on a movie and I'm like, I just want to watch something that I've seen 100 times, right?
Yeah.
I just watch the same 3 movies over and over again.
And they are How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes. You have to get this.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Can I have a little hint?
It's one that has like a bajillion actors in it. Like famous actors.
Bajillion?
Me and Kate talk about this movie all the time.
Oh, fuck, what's it called? I've seen it, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
I never know with you.
What is it?
He's Just Not That Into You.
Oh, want to know what's funny? That's the movie that I was thinking of when I said How to Lose a Guy in 10
Are
Days.
you kidding?
He's Just Not That Into You with Justin Long,
Yes,
right?
but How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is my #1 favorite movie.
No, I know. A lot of these movies blend into one movie to me, respectfully. What's your third one?
So there, I mean, most of them are just all rom-coms that I've seen a million times, but my top 3 are How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, He's Just Not That Into You, and 27 Dresses.
I did know that one, actually.
Yeah.
I did.
Those are the ones that I could just like throw on every single day and be very content with my life.
Yeah, okay. Mine are
Very different than mine.
Silent Hill. Really any of the Saw movies.
That's crazy.
The Saw movies are very comforting to me.
In what way?
Like
Like the way that like someone gets their leg chopped off, or
yeah, it's exciting
when like the bear
sometimes.
trap is like on that girl's face and she has to remove it and then it like smashes her face. Like
It didn't smash her
that's-
face. She got out.
I
She
don't
survived.
remember.
That's Amanda. Her name's Amanda.
Oh yeah, she's
representing
the Amanda.
Amandas.
She's the Amanda girl.
Amanda.
Show.
Yeah. I actually loved the newest Saw movie. It was so good.
Did I see it?
It was the one set in Mexico.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Mm.
I just remember the one with Chris Rock randomly. Like, why was he
That
in
one
there?
was so. That's the only one that I don't fuck with that movie at all.
Why was he? Why? Why did that happen?
I do not know. That movie was so bizarre. They like tried to do something different and new, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is a formulaic thing. We've got it down.
Yeah.
Give me some twisty turnies. They don't even have to be that interesting or realistic. But like for some reason they tried to do the entire movie from like the point of view of the police officers that were investigating the crimes. And so it took away like the fun element of watching the people try to get out of the traps.
Yeah. I remember seeing it and I was like, this is very bizarre.
Yeah, it was like the whole fun of like the Saw movies is they kind of feel like you're watching them on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the sets are and the way they do the sound and the blocking is like almost like watching a stage production.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it just made it feel really corny
Mm-hmm.
because when you're just like watching a police procedural, that doesn't work as well, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what movie comes out like next week?
What?
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh,
Are you
nice.
a fan of those?
Yeah, I mean I've seen all of them.
Yeah, I want to do.
I'm a huge Lois Duncan fan.
Is that?
That's who wrote the book
Oh,
that it's based on.
I didn't even know it was a book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I am like I own probably 15 or 20 Lois Duncan books, and I've read all of them at least twice.
oh, nice.
Stranger with My Face, get with it, girl. I
with
love
it.
that book.
I want to do a rewatch and then go see the movie.
Okay, I'm down. You
Yeah.
know I love a little rewatch of a cheesy series.
Yeah.
It's my fave.
And I'm sorry, they brought back Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr.
The way when I think of a man who I'm not attracted to, but like get it like so precisely, it's Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
He's like not, for some reason he's like not my type, but like if anyone's ever like, oh, I'm obsessed with Freddie Prinze Jr., I'm like, yeah.
and he aged so well.
And he's a wife guy.
I know.
To Sarah Michelle friggin' Gellar.
And they both look great.
They both look incredible. That's what happens when you stay in your lane and you love your wife. You get to age really well.
Another movie that is in my top 10, She's All That, Freddie Prinze Jr.
I was gonna say Scooby-Doo Monster Island.
okay.
I rewatch that movie probably at least once a month.
This is okay.
That's a big throw on.
Wow.
That's a big throw on for me. Like when I want to look at my phone or I'm like kind of half researching a story,
Mhm.
but I want something on. Scooby-Doo Monster Island.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say things like that and it shocks me.
It's like when you found out that I love the Cat in
Cat
the
in the
Hat.
Hat.
I love it. Have
The
you watched
cat-
it yet?
No. I'm sorry, no.
I own it, by the way, if you need to borrow my login, because I think it's only rent or buy. I own it.
Okay.
I own the digital copy.
You know what? Maybe one day I'll come over. We'll watch it together.
After we talked about it like 2 weeks ago or whatever, I watched it 3 days in a row.
Okay. Well, I'm happy for you.
I love it. It's so funny.
No, I will throw it on soon.
Good. I need to report back. And if you don't like it, it's okay.
I just remember, so I've only seen it once, and I just remember being like, oh, this is like the worst movie I've ever seen.
It is. But like in the way that it's exactly as bad as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like that movie's not supposed to be good.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like bad in the same way that like people who hate The Grinch. People who like which
to me is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
I love that movie, but I didn't realize until we talked about how much we love it, how much people hate it. And then I found out we're in the minority of loving the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Well, I think that whoever doesn't love the Jim Carrey Grinch is stupid, and I will stand by that.
Yeah. She was like, that is the hill she's going to die on.
Yeah, no,
for sure.
Absolutely. And come at me. Go ahead, because I will fight you to the death on that one.
There's the emails are typing.
You know what? You know what?
I can hear them from here.
I will take a negative review about that one. I will. I gotta say, there's not a lot of things that I will take a negative review about, but that is one.
She's willing to take that bullet.
Yeah,
for sure. That Jim Carrey shaped bullet.
I love that movie.
But yeah, I just love the Cat in the Hat movie, and I was very happy. I posted like a screenshot of it on my Instagram, and so many people were like, "Oh my gosh, I love the Cat in the Hat! It's time for a rewatch."
Well, you know, there's a new animated one coming out. Did you see that?
I do love like anything in that world, like the Cat in the Hat, Grinch, Whoville, like Dr. Seuss world. I'm really into.
I love that world.
See, that's why I feel like you would like the Cat in the Hat. It's so that world.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but I just want to live in Whoville or Toontown.
Yeah.
Like I want to live there.
For sure. For sure.
I want to live there, and I want to open up Minnie Mouse's fridge and have fake food every day for the rest of my life.
Walking through that part of Toontown where you walk through like Minnie and Mickey's house is what watching the Cat in the Hat feels like. That's why I'm like, how do people not like it? It gives you that exact like weird uncanny valley, somehow nostalgic for something you never had like feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what
is. And Mike Myers is just so funny. I love him.
Yeah, I love Mike Myers. I'll never forget the moment that he walked past me and my friend on a rooftop in New York City wearing a neon yellow jumpsuit and a neon yellow sideways baseball cap.
Hilarious.
On a random Friday night.
Hilarious. That sounds exactly how I would want him to be dressed if I ran into him.
It did make me love him even more, I have to say.
Deeply.
He walked by and I go, was that Mike Myers? And then he walked by again and like looked at us and we were like, what the
that's him.
Fuck?
That's him.
What are you doing?
Mike Myers, I'll never forget the look on your face when Kanye West said, Bush doesn't care about black people on live TV. That was a top 10 moment. That was a top 10 moment.
I
just
miss him.
The look on his face of like, guys, what do I do? Just sheer panic.
There's just so many celebrities like that in our lifetime that I'm like, I miss so greatly.
Oh, like you wish they were in more stuff?
I wish they were still constantly working.
Yeah.
And he is one of them.
That's me with Jim Carrey. I wish they would have made 10,000 more series of unfortunate events.
Oh yeah, those movies were cute.
I loved that.
I read those books actually.
Yeah. Oh, me too. That was like one of the first books I ever bought at a Scholastic book fair.
Yeah. That was one of the only books I've ever read in my life.
That's a good one if you're gonna choose one. I loved those books. Yeah, I had all like the box set or whatever when I was a kid.
Yeah, they were so good.
But I loved the series of unfortunate events with him. I thought they were really well done.
He's such a good character actor, and he's such a good not character actor.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing.
Like the Truman Show. I'm sorry,
Truman Show, incredible. What was that movie where he like worked 24-hour photo? Was that him?
I don't know if I've ever seen
or
that.
No. The Number 23. It was like a thriller.
He was in a thriller?
Uh-huh. Yeah, The Number 23. Sorry, I'm moving everything. It was like this crazy thriller, and he was so good in it. It was like really weird. It was a very strange movie. It has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. People don't like it. But he was really good in it.
He's so good in everything.
Oh, Logan Lerman was in it?
He's hot. I like that guy. But he was probably a kid back then.
Yeah, this was in 2007, so he was for sure a child.
Okay.
It's a Joel Schumacher movie. Oh, I didn't realize that. he did Batman and Robin, and Batman Forever, two of my favorite
Which
movies.
Jim Carrey is in.
Two of my favorite movies of all time. Love, and this is where I'm gonna get the hate.
Oh no.
I love Batman and Robin, and I refuse to accept that it is a bad movie.
No, I think we've talked about this before.
It's time to chill out. Sorry, Mr. Freeze. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. That was groundbreaking.
Okay. There was a period of time where Arnold Schwarzenegger was in so many really great movies. I don't care what anyone says. Jingle All the Way.
Incredible.
Incredible.
So freaking funny.
Kindergarten Cop.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that he also did Falling Down. Oh my God, Joel Schumacher, okay, I see you. Lost Boys, Phone Booth, A Time to Kill.
Wow.
These are bangers. Bangers only, Joel. The Phantom of the Opera, 2004.
With Gerard Butler?
With Gerard Butler.
Oh, shit. I do love that movie.
Good work, Joel. Wow, impressive. I don't know anything else about you. I do love The Lost Boys, though, and I love Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one with the Riddler and Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman. What's that one?
Is she? I thought Poison Ivy was in the Batman and Robin one.
She might be.
Yeah, that's Batman and Robin. That's the one with...
I'm just picturing the one where they're all the bad guys are like in the cave.
Yeah, so Batman Forever is Two-Face and the Riddler. Batman and Robin is Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Uma Thurman as... Thurman? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, Uma Thurman.
I don't know why I was like, Thurma? Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Yes. Ooh.
Chris O'Donnell as Robin. Come on.
Yeah, so good.
Grow up. That's incredible. That's an all-star cast. Val Kilmer is in Batman Forever. Batman and Robin is George Clooney. I'm a Val Kilmer. I love Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Like so deeply. I'm like,
there's just so
Val
many
Kilmer
different
stan girl.
Batmans. There's so many different Batmans. You know, you can like multiple guys.
Yeah,
it's possible.
You guys, and also it's okay to like things that are cheesy. Like sometimes that's the point
100%
of the film. Like I would posit that a movie like Batman and Robin or Batman Forever is good because it feels like you're in a cartoonish crazy world. It's based on a comic book.
Yes. And
What do
you
you
want to
want?
feel like you're in a comic book.
And you do. When you're in that Gotham City, you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And that's how all movies should be. And I think that like every movie,
It's kind of like how we think every bar should be themed.
yes, exactly. Like every movie like that you should be able to create some sort of a world in an amusement park out of.
Yes. And I should want to be in it. And when I walk into the amusement park, I'm like, ooh, it like takes me out of the reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Epic Universe, the new one that just opened up. I want to go so bad because I want to go to the How to Train Your Dragon world.
Oh, I forgot you like that movie.
I fucking love How to Train Your Dragon.
At Six Flags, they have like a Batman area, like
Yeah.
a Gotham City area. And it's like not as well done as like, you know, some of the other, because they're just more based on like rides than like
Yeah.
theming. But even then, it still feels really cool.
I want to be able to just walk down a fake street with fake houses and fake things every day of my life.
I wonder what that mental disorder is.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna ask you
gotta
that
be some
earlier.
sort of thing.
I was gonna say there has to be a name for for this feeling.
For the desire to like be somewhere that is other. Maybe it's
that's
just
like cartoonish or fake or what, like a set.
maybe it's just living in the world and realizing it sucks here.
Maybe.
Like, can you take me elsewhere, please?
Like plop me down in Whoville, put a camera on me. I don't care. Make me the Truman Show, but just let me live there. You know?
Yeah, Whoville is cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, even
We
just
should
that
go meet the
little part that's at Universal Studios is cool.
Well, they only do it during.
Well, I
Christmas.
don't know if I'm allowed back at Universal Studios, like legally. I'm serious.
I know.
They trespassed me. I don't think I am.
You don't really think that they like took a picture and put it
They
somewhere.
had my ID for like 45 minutes and then called the cops on me. Absolutely. You were there.
I know I was there.
They had my ID for so long and they called so many police.
I know. I'm thinking like maybe by Christmas, though, it'll already have been over a year. So maybe
They'll have forgotten.
Maybe
You
they're
think-
over it.
You think the big corporation that called the police
What
on
are
me
they-
forgot?
What are they going to do with this 5'1" little girl?
Apparently have 15 police officers escort me out of the park.
Hashtag never forget.
I was going to say, what do you mean, what are they going to do? You already saw, you were there.
I know. God damn it. We can't go meet the freaking Grinch.
Maybe, allegedly. I don't know. I don't want to risk it, like buying a ticket online and then showing up and they're like, oh, no. Or I'm like walking around the park and then they're like, hey, you got to go.
They like,
That would be
they
so
saw your face
embarrassing.
on like a camera.
Yeah, they have like facial recognition shit. Are you kidding me?
Holy shit.
You know they do.
That would be so crazy if that happened.
It happens all the time. People get banned from places all the time like that. And then I would be so pissed because tickets aren't cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know they're not refunding me.
No, definitely not.
No.
No. They're charging you double.
Yeah, if
actually.
anything, I have to pay my way out.
Yeah. Your bail is the price of a ticket.
I'm like, damn. I could have gone to Disneyland.
Coulda. See, you're not banned from there.
No.
So we're good.
They're way more strict, you would think.
So we could just go to Toontown.
Once again, I don't know if I'm banned. And if you don't know this story, what episode did we talk about it in?
Oh gosh.
It was last year sometime in
October.
October or November.
It would be the last
I can't retell the story, but it'll be in there.
it would be like the last episode of October probably.
Yeah, or the first episode of November.
Yeah.
Go check it out. I didn't do anything wrong, for the record.
For the record. We were in the right.
I do have a real ID now, though.
Oh, you got it?
Oh, I got it.
Oh shit.
I had to go to the DMV and everything.
You're more official than I am.
You don't have a real ID?
I have my passport.
Oh, okay. Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found out like once you get your real ID, it makes it easier to get your passport. So I was like, I might as well just do this. And I didn't get a driver's license because I don't drive. So I just got a ID card.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I didn't have to take a test or anything.
I didn't even realize that there was a difference.
Yeah, I just got the California State Identification Card.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. It was so easy. Didn't have to take a test. That was the biggest thing. I was like, I can't be taking a test.
Yeah, would they have to have made you take like a permit test?
And you even have to take a test. You have to take a test in your own car. I don't have a car.
Oh shit. Oh, you would have to take a whole driver's test?
Yeah. I don't know if because I've had a driver's license in the past, like in another state, if I would just have to take the written. But yeah, to get a driver's license, like you have to take a written
it's just the
test.
written.
But even then, I don't want to do that
Yeah.
because I don't drive.
Because
I
I
want that.
I remember when I moved to California, I had to retake the written test and
Yeah.
I was sweating bullets.
Oh, I believe it.
Because I'm so bad at taking tests. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been driving for so many years and I have no idea what the answers to these questions are.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't need a driver's license. So
Yeah.
why would I ever go through the extra trouble?
Well, there you go. Then we're all squared
But
away.
look at me, California State ID, and it's even
Look
a
at her
real
now.
one. Real ID is the stupidest fucking thing in the entire
so
world.
Stupid.
Nobody can explain to me why it matters, what it's going to help prevent, what interest it is other than fucking up your day, fucking up everybody's day.
No, I truly don't understand it.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It's just another reason that we all have to go to the fucking DMV.
literally and pay another $35 or whatever.
So annoying.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And then I heard they're like barely enforcing it at airports anyway.
When I went to the airport a couple weeks ago, they were checking.
No, I mean they check, but like they still let you on the plane.
Oh, if you don't have it?
You just have to go through like a secondary screening.
Oh.
But it's not impossible. Like most people that I've seen that have been flying with regular IDs, and I don't know, this is just
maybe they were giving
I've gotten
people like a month leniency or
well,
something.
they just are like, oh, well then you have to come over and step over here and like answer questions like about your ID, and then they let you go.
Oh, weird. Like I'm 18 trying to get into a club with a fake ID.
Yeah. So stupid.
What's your address?
Especially when TSA like fully fails every single assessment that they ever get put under. Like they literally fail every single time that because they have like random testing for them. They fail like it's like 98% of the time or something. But I still have to take my shoes off.
Yeah. No.
Because like one guy so fucking stupid.
So stupid.
So stupid.
And I'll like be wearing sandals and I'm like, come on.
It's so dumb.
What's in my sandal?
And like you guys are literally putting me through an x-ray machine or whatever.
Yes.
And I have to take my shoes off.
From my head to my toes.
Bro, grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
I agree.
Well, let's talk about some people who don't need to grow up. In fact, the opposite.
Stay young forever.
They're locked in. And that would be our new cool kids. So thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon. Once again, is one of the main reasons that we get to keep doing this podcast. We are very largely listener supported by you guys, and our Patreon is the way that we do that. So I would like to say thank you to Morgan B,
Hi, Morgan.
Courtney R,
Hi, Courtney.
and Emily I.
Hi, Emily.
Sorry, I's and L's look very similar in the font of this email that I get. So I was like, and I would like to say thank you to Aaron K, who edited their membership to the whole year.
Ooh.
Which you can always do that.
You can.
So thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon. We have a bunch of fun stuff going on there. We have our new shot of Kool-Aid. You get early access to our Things Are Getting Weird episodes. You also get like slightly early access to our regular episodes. And you also get all of that ad-free. We have a bonus episode that's coming out this week. We have, we're starting kind of like a new book club type thing with a book called Thistlefoot. So if you are on the Patreon, make sure you go check that out. And is there anything else that's been on Patreon recently?
We just kind of drop random.
We probably release like 3 to 4 Patreon exclusive things a month. So like it really is worth it. Even if
we are planning to drop a video of us timing ourselves eating food and seeing if we could do it.
Yes.
So like just fun, weird stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Because if you're listening to this episode, you already heard it. Our Things Are Getting Weird episode was all about food eating contests in honor of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, bringing back Joey Chestnut, my feared enemy this year.
Your arch nemesis.
I feel bad because I don't hate him. I'm sure he's a really nice guy.
No.
Just something about the way that he eats those hot dogs.
It's grotesque.
It really leaves a sense of dread in the pit of my stomach.
Yeah.
And I would feel so bad if I ever met him, but I would be so scared.
His whole body is like a liminal space.
Yeah, the aura is just off the charts.
Yeah.
Bonkers to me.
But hopefully he won. Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know. We're in the past.
We're in the past. But yeah, so go check out our Patreon. You can do that at patreon.com/drinkingthekool-aid, or you can find tons of ways to support us at dtkpod.com/contact. It's not /contact/support. And if you can't support the podcast monetarily right now, we totally understand. Things are fucking weird.
Things are getting weird.
And we get it. But if you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen, that makes a huge difference. And if you can even go in and like write why you enjoy our podcast on Apple Podcast or Stitcher or on Spotify, you can just do the 5 stars. That makes a huge difference, and it helps us get into more people's playlists and suggested. And then the more people who listen, the longer we can do this.
Please.
And we like to do it as much as you like to listen, I hope.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, speaking of the book that Cassidy is reading for Patreon.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Amanda, for sending those.
Our cool kid Amanda sent us each a book, actually. Sent Cassidy Thistlefoot, and then sent me like a rom-com-esque type book that I'm very excited to read. So thank you so much for those. And then I also wanted to say thank you to Mary H, who sent me these like drag queen, what is it, like not tarot cards.
I don't know. I haven't looked. I didn't open them.
Oh, well, what did she send you?
Oh, so she sent me from the Andy Warhol Museum. It's just a box of queer trivia.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Me and my fiance played it when I got home that
cute.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And your note was really sweet as well.
Very, very sweet. Yes. So
what are your cards? They're just like
they're not tarot cards. They're like look in the mirror and you tell yourself, like affirmations.
Oh, affirmations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like drag queen affirmation cards.
Very cute.
Yeah, they're really cute.
I like that. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate like all the gifts and any support that you guys send us. I mean, it means the world to us, and it really is what makes us want to continue doing the podcast. Yeah. Especially in the bizarre world that we all live in now.
Truly.
Well, on that note, would you like to get started?
I would indeed.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some soda companies. Well, one particular soda company. And we're going to be talking about Pepsi Number Fever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my sources today mostly were an Esquire magazine article by Paul John Canna, a little bit from the LA Times, which was an article like back in the 1990s by Bob Drogan, and Wikipedia.
Okay. As we're drinking soda.
We are. We're drinking my favorite soda, Olipop, the superior soda, in my opinion. The Orange Crush is good.
The peaches and cream is good.
I really like all of them. I don't think I've had one I didn't like. Okay. This is not an ad. We just genuinely drink it.
We're just drinking it and like it.
Okay. So in 1984, Pepsi is like scratching their brain. What are we going to do? We got to catch up to Coca-Cola. Obviously, Coca-Cola dominates. It's been around longer. It's like such an iconic brand, right? And Coca-Cola is thinking like, okay, we at least want to like be in the conversation. And they're trying all these different things. Like they do like a Pepsi Wake Up, which has more caffeine and more sugar in it. And they're hoping like that people would drink it instead of coffee and stuff like that.
How much, like what's the difference of like when Coke started versus when Pepsi started? Like years?
All right, so Pepsi started in 1898.
Oh, wow.
1886. So over 10 years.
Okay. So not that much difference.
But Coke just like was the first thing, and it had like cocaine in it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Get yourself some cocaine.
Hello. But yeah, so they were like trying all these different things. Nothing's really working. They're not selling like they want to be, even in giant pop drinking markets. They're only targeting like somewhere between like 15 and 25% of the market, and like Coke is like just dominating.
Yeah. I mean, Coke had Santa Claus on board.
Coke, like the Coca-Cola, the company, basically invented our modern idea of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Literally. Like that is what brought that, like the white beard and everything like in the red and white into our zeitgeist.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like influential. So in 1984, they have this young new CEO. He's kind of giving Red Lobster CEO. I'm sure you heard about that, right? Oh, so Red Lobster like went bankrupt and they hired this new CEO. He's like 30 and he's shaking everything up and like making it better, and everyone's obsessed with him.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. And yeah, he's like this young like 30-something-year-old black guy who was like, he introduced like new seafood boils and $5 cocktails and all this stuff. It's like getting butts in seats.
Well,
you know?
you need a $5 cocktail. That will save the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I never understand when especially chain restaurants don't make their drinks cheap, because that is what brings people in, and then they buy your overpriced food, and the way you win margin wise on alcohol is like so crazy. Like the margin is so much thinner on food. Why would you not do deals on the drinks?
Agreed.
Duh. Okay. So he's like, I am open to developing a new fun campaign. They end up talking with this agency in New York City that comes up with something called Pepsi Number Fever. So the way it works is every time you buy a bottle of Pepsi, on the cap, there's a number, and every night on TV, there's a live announcement of the winning number.
Oh, it's like the lottery.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And so for like a couple weeks, they like tested it, and they were like, oh, people love this. They did it in the United States originally. And there were huge cash prizes from like, $25 up to $500,000, right? Huge cash prizes. This ends up being extremely popular in the US, so they expand it to Argentina, Chile, Guatemala, and Mexico, which I did not know, but those are the largest soft drink consuming countries on the planet.
I did not know that either.
Yeah. I did know that Mexico drank a lot of Coca-Cola, and Pepsi was like trying to get in on that, basically.
Yeah.
But so this is extremely popular. They're like, okay, people love this. It ups our sales dramatically, and the amount of money that we end up giving away is so much less than we are making more because people are buying it more. Kind of similar to the McDonald's McMillions thing that we covered on Patreon. Mm-hmm. It was like, okay, yeah, they were giving away $1 million, but they were making $25 million more. So it's like, it's worth it, right? So similar kind of idea. So in January of 1992, January 15th to be exact, the Pepsi Cola Products Philippines Incorporated, or PCPPI, which was like the local franchise holder for Pepsi Cola or PepsiCo Inc., they applied for a permit with their local Department of Trade and Industry to do this Number Fever campaign in the Philippines.
Okay.
Right? So they apply to this, and they're like, okay, here are all the rules. Here's why it's not gambling technically. You know how like there's a lot of there's a lot of strict rules in a lot of countries about like sweepstakes versus gambling versus this versus that. And so they were going to give away prizes from 100 pesos up to as many as 1,000,000 pesos.
Wow.
And you could win by buying any Pepsi products. So that included Pepsi, 7-Up, a local drink called Mirinda, and Mountain Dew.
Okay.
Yeah. So they end up getting approved the next month, and the campaign starts in February of 1992. And it immediately is an instant hit. People are going crazy for this. Like, they love it. There's people going through trash cans trying to find extra caps. People are abstaining from like buying food or going out to lunch and just buying up a bunch of Pepsi. It like kind of made me think of like the golden ticket thing with Willy Wonka. Like all these people are like buying up way more chocolate or whatever.
I mean, I was going to say, like, I don't know if they still do it now, but in our time when we were kids, so many like cereal boxes did sweepstakes and all that kind of shit. And I was always being like, gotta find like Airheads, I'm thinking, or Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, remember Tootsie Pops? You would try to find the star on your wrapper, and then you would get a free Tootsie Pop. If you,
I was addicted to that.
I love Tootsie Pops, the brown ones and the red ones.
The brown ones are the best.
The brown ones are the best. Red ones are second.
Yeah.
I love them all, but those are the top two, obviously. I'm also just a huge Tootsie Roll fan.
I love a Tootsie Roll.
I love those fat square ones. Oh, man.
If it doesn't hurt your jaw chewing, I don't want it.
You could catch any day of the week. You could catch when I was a fat little kid, just fucking.
I really thought you were gonna say my fat ass.
My fat little kid ass, just fucking gnawing on one of those. And now even sometimes when I go to like the corner store, like a liquor store for paper towels or whatever, some like thing, they'll always have them at the checkout.
Yeah,
and
the big thick ones.
And I still get them sometimes.
Oh, because those just look like a big ass turd.
The big thick ones are where it's at.
Yeah, and they hurt my jaw every time.
I also love the Fruity Tooties.
Yes.
Same idea, but just fruit flavored.
I like the blue ones, the vanilla.
Oh, gross. Those are I have so many of those. I'll give them to you.
Oh my God, please.
Because somebody sent me like a 5-pound bag of them, and it's a variety pack, and I don't eat the vanilla ones.
I'm addicted to those.
Oh, I like the pink ones and the green ones. Really, any of them except for the vanilla one. Okay. So this campaign started, and immediately the amount, like I said, like their market share was somewhere between like 15 and 20, 25, like depending on where they're at. And the Philippines is like one of the largest, I think they were like the 12th largest soft drink consuming market on the planet. And it went up from 19% all the way up to 25%.
Okay.
So a lot of people who probably were buying Coke or something else were now buying Pepsi instead. And then people who were buying Pepsi were buying a lot more of it.
I just have to say, I don't understand people that are like, I only drink Coke or I only drink Pepsi. Like, they're both good.
Yeah. I prefer Coke, but I'm like, when someone's like, is Pepsi okay? I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like I
love Mountain Dew.
I
I'm
would
a Mountain
say
Dew stan.
I like the taste of Coke a little bit more, but I also will drink Pepsi. Like, I don't care.
For me, it's just Coke Zero is better than any other diet soda.
Yeah.
And so it's not even like if it's a full fat Pepsi or full fat Coke, I think they taste very similar.
Yeah.
But when you get into the diets, that's when I think like Diet Pepsi to me has more of that like aspartame flavor. But yeah, like it's all good. And I love Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. Listen, I'm from the Midwest. I don't know what to tell you guys. I fucking love Mountain Dew. I kill some Mountain
Blast.
Dew. Baja Blast, Code Red. I don't care. I want
Code Red.
So they end up running this promo for a couple months, and it's supposed to end on May 8th, 1992. About 51,000 people had won the minimum prize, which was 100 pesos, and 17 winners had taken home the prize of 1,000,000 pesos, which is like equivalent to, I think it was like 40 or 60,000 American dollars. But back then that was equivalent to like 5 years' pay.
Wow.
So it was like a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah.
Because it was so successful, the PCPPI applied to extend the promotion for another 5 weeks because they're like, we're killing it. We're making money hand over fist. People are super stoked on this. They're enjoying it. We're enjoying it. Like, let's just keep the good times rolling, honey. Yes. So they extend the promotion for another 5 weeks. But only 2 weeks later, or like 2.5 weeks later, on May 25th, 1992, people were gathering around their TVs and looking through their caps as the winning numbers for that night's 1 million peso winnings was announced. So the numbers that were announced were 349.
Okay.
So people are looking at their caps and they are going crazy. They're quitting their jobs, they're changing their lives, they're leaving their wives, and they're lining up at designated Pepsi winning payout locations to show their winning 349 cap.
They're leaving their wives.
Yeah. Because Pepsi had accidentally manufactured anywhere between 600,000 and 800,000 349 caps.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
1,000?
800,000. There was one lady who had 20 349 caps.
Don't quit your job. Don't leave your
Don't
wife.
do it. It's not worth it.
Don't do it.
So it turns out when the promo had been extended, they mixed up some of their like never win numbers with a winning number. And so this had been mass produced because it was supposed to be like a never win number. Like it was supposed to be like a dud.
Oh no.
But accidentally things had gotten like swapped around because they were like rushing to extend this campaign because they were making so much money that they accidentally announced one of the never win numbers as the winning number, which of course caused mass confusion and a lot of people who were promised a lot of money. Life-changing money, once again. Like this would literally be like if you did a scratcher and you won 10 million and then you went there and they're like, oh, actually we misprinted this. You didn't win anything.
Oh.
Like you'd be pissed.
Pissed.
Especially if you already called your job and you were like,
yeah,
sayonara, suckers. She already blocked me. She's
the podcast is done.
The podcast is over.
You'll never see
She's
me
already
again.
nuked the Instagram account.
I'm going to Bora Bora.
She broke up with her husband. She's got Josh Duhamel on the line. I don't know. Okay, there's a lot happening.
Wait, now you're talking.
So obviously people are fucking pissed when they're lining up because so there were like designated like payout locations where you could go with your cap and pick up your prize, and the lines were like around the block because there's so many winners at all these different locations.
800,000.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And obviously not everybody showed up because not everybody cared enough to like check
even
and
if
whatever.
Not everybody of 800,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
That's still going to be a lot of fucking people.
It's a lot, and don't worry, we'll get to how many. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So people are fucking pissed off, and apparently if Pepsi would have like gone through with this and like paid out all the people who showed up with winning numbers, they would have had to shell out as much as $32 billion.
Oh my God.
Because there were some people who had like multiple of them, like I said. Like they had like they would have like 25 of them.
Pepsi, what did you do?
So they tried to change the winning number to 134. Like all sneaky and be like, oh, oops, we read the wrong number. It's actually 134, but the damage had already been done and people were already like, nope, you said 349. Like we were there, bitch. Gotcha.
Oh my God.
Gotcha in that one.
I had my video camcorder on the
recording.
Screen.
Yeah.
I have it right here.
And only 3 days later on May 28th, they did announce that 349 was the winning number, but that there had been an error. So there were like security codes, like, you know, like when they do those things, like underneath it'll have a bunch of weird numbers or like a barcode or something. There was a security code underneath all of the caps, and they would only be honoring the caps that had a matching security code. So it had to have 349 and also a winning security code. And then they said that like that would be closer to like 3 people, and that a couple people would win like 100 pesos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if anything, they could just be like, well, there's so many of you that each person's
To
only
split
getting
it.
2 pesos.
Yeah, I think they like didn't, I don't know for sure, but I think they just like didn't do their rules very well.
Yeah, because usually in lottery, if multiple people win, those winnings just get split, right?
Yeah, so that was something I actually didn't really understand. I was trying to find it, but I didn't really understand how they actually chose who got like 100 pesos versus a million.
Yeah, especially if everybody
So I didn't know if it was like, oh, tonight we're doing the million, or tonight we're doing this, or if there's this many people we do. They didn't really describe it in any of the articles I was reading. And then I was even trying to like find YouTube videos or whatever to talk about, and all of the YouTube videos acted like the only amount you could win was 1 million pesos, which wasn't true based on every article I read. There was like a range. I just don't know how they determined that range.
Okay.
So if you know that, feel free to drop it in the comments. I would love to know. But so they're like, okay. And anybody who has these winning numbers, actually the only amount that you could win is between 100 pesos and 50,000 pesos.
Okay. So
And it had to have the specific security codes.
I'll still take 50,000.
Yeah, right. And so basically they said, like, we will not be dispersing cash to anybody with a 349 because it needs to be on like this official list and have been like a winning thing.
Changing your rules now, Pepsi.
So of course this pissed people off. So Pepsi did offer, like, as a oopsie poopsie, 500 pesos to anybody with a 349.
500
pesos.
Okay.
Yeah, which is like equivalent to like 25 American dollars today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once again, obviously, like, American money, like with the different rates and whatever, like that still is like not a terrible amount of cash.
Especially back then.
Well, back then, and I don't know how much it was actually worth back then. Somebody said it was closer to like being worth like 5 to 10 USD. But the average monthly income back then in the Philippines for a worker was about 100 USD.
Okay.
So like I said, like, because of the different exchange rates, that's what makes it kind of, and obviously this was 30 years ago. So,
yeah.
So 486,170 people with the 349s did take the 500 pesos.
Okay. I thought you were going to say had the barcode.
No. Took the pesos. They were like, whatever, we'll take the 500.
Yeah, better to walk away with something than with nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like when you file one of those like class action lawsuits and they're like millions available, and then they like send you like a Venmo for $8 and you're like, all right, well,
I've been involved in one of those.
yeah. Oh, me too. I sign up for every single one I'm available
and then
to.
I get like 75 cents and I'm like, you know what, it's fine.
If there's one thing that this bitch is doing, it's signing up for a class action lawsuit. And I've gotten somewhere. I got like $75.
I was gonna say one time. I was just about to say $75. I think one time I did get $75.
And they'll just like Venmo it to you. It's awesome.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And I'm like,
cool.
all I had to do was just type in like, yeah, I bought this product.
Someone's getting Wingstop tonight.
Exactly. So obviously, almost 500,000 people did take the 500 pesos, but by taking the 500 pesos, you basically were agreeing that you wouldn't sue Pepsi, that you were like, okay, whatever, this is done. I agree. Here's my 500. I don't want to deal with this, right?
Okay.
But a lot of the people did not take it that well.
Yeah, get your bag.
And violence began to erupt in multiple cities, including Milan, which is like the capital city.
Oh, no.
So people were throwing rocks and explosives at corporate headquarters, Pepsi's corporate headquarters.
Oh, shit.
They were finding delivery trucks on their routes. They were tipping them over, setting them on fire. They say a total of about at least 37 company trucks were completely destroyed that were carrying Pepsi co-products. This woman, her name was Pasiancia Salem. She was 64 years old, and she was interviewed at one of these giant protests. And she said, even if I die here, my ghost will come to fight Pepsi. It is their mistake, not our mistake. And now they won't pay. That's why we are fighting. And her husband ended up dying of a heart attack mid-March against Pepsi.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is like a serious fucking thing.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope his ghost came back to fight.
Oh, you know it's haunting someone.
Wow.
I don't know who, but it's out there.
That's wild.
If you feel like you have a generational curse and you find out that one of your like grandparents or parents worked for Pepsi Philippines,
sounds like Mrs.
Salam's husband might be the one haunting your family.
Wow.
Generational curse.
That's wild.
So the riots actually continued for months. And even led to a few deaths. So there was a school teacher named Anacita Rosario, and her and a 5-year-old, she was not named because she was underage, obviously, girl were both killed after someone threw a homemade grenade at a Pepsi delivery truck, exploding the truck and killing them and injuring 5 other people.
Maybe if you are driving the Pepsi truck, like maybe don't.
Oh, I would have
During this
quit
time.
so fast.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you know what? It's so crazy. I just decided that I want to do anything else but this.
Yeah. Or, call out sick.
Yeah. For
You
real.
know?
And then 3 other PepsiCo employees were killed by a grenade that was thrown into a corporate warehouse.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is serious
People were
business.
fucking pissed off. It actually became a common like colloquial phrase in the Philippines to say like, oh, I got 349'd. Like I got tricked. I got duped. I got, scammed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, this lasted for literal months.
Could they figure, I mean, I'm sure they couldn't, but was there a way to figure out like who was the one that fucked this up?
Not that I could find. And obviously very similar to like the McMillions thing, which if you guys are on our Patreon, we covered that like a couple months ago. But very similar to the McMillions thing, like the number was kept a secret and there was all these barcodes and they had like a company that specifically hid it and like tried to keep it all secret, which I think might have been their downfall. Like I think there was a miscommunication about which numbers were the numbers that were getting printed a lot, like the no-win numbers, and the numbers that were winners that were only supposed to be printed like twice. And of course, tons of lawsuits started to pop up. There was a very prominent figure and like was kind of the face of these lawsuits and also like the anti-Pepsi movement. His name was Vicente Del Fierro Jr. So he had actually been against the idea of this like in general before anything even happened. He said that this game was, quote, a social disease that nurtures the gambling instincts in our children. So he thought it was like immoral and weird to do it in the first place because you're tricking people into buying your product when they have it was like a 1 in 28 million chance of winning. Right. He's like,
but once again,
you would have better odds at the poker table than you would doing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but once again, like how often, like we all love that kind of shit. We all love to gamble.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with that's why they call the lottery like a pour on the tax. A tax on the poor. Dyslexic. That's why they call it like a tax on the poor, is because who has that dream of, oh my gosh, my whole life could change. Like a rich person, they don't need that. Their life already is what we're dreaming of. Like, oh my gosh, a paid off car, a house to live in, maybe be able to like treat my mom or like my dad or my husband or my kids or whatever to like a nice thing, nice dinner, nice vacation. But so this Vicente guy, he was like whole hog against Pepsi. And it didn't help that his daughter was one of the people who had one of the winning numbers and got duped and was so disappointed.
Of course.
So he just like went full in on it. They were countersuing him. He was suing them. They tried to get Bill Clinton involved when Bill Clinton came to visit the Philippines. He flew to New York to try and start a lawsuit in New York City so it would be on American soil instead of Filipino soil. And then they sent him back and they're like, nope, because it's like technically a it's not PepsiCo proper. It's like their Filipino offshoot. So you have to do it in the Philippines. But over 22,000 people filed around 690 lawsuits, and there were 5,200 criminal complaints against Pepsi.
Wow.
So like people were pissed and they were like they wanted their money and they didn't think the 500 pesos was worth it.
Get Coca-Cola involved, baby.
Well, so Coca-Cola apparently was playing it like real close to the chest during this time. You know, if there's a scandal going on, just like try to pretend that you're not involved. Right.
Of course.
And so they apparently said there had been like leaks when this Pepsi Number Fever thing was going on that they said it was like concerning because they were like, crap, like it's working. And so then when it did, obviously this huge scandal happened, they were like, oh, sorry guys, sucks it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So nothing really got settled for years and years and years until 2007 when the Supreme Court in the Philippines said, quote, in the instant case, not only are the legal rights and relations of the parties substantially the same as those passed upon in the other Pepsi 349 cases, because obviously there have been a bunch of different courts involved and now they're at the Supreme Court, right? But the facts, the applicable law, the causes of action, and the issues are identical, such that a ruling in one case is a bar to any attempt to relitigate the same issue. So basically they were saying like, okay, this is done. Like, we're not going to keep opening this case up again and again. And that their, quote, final and executory ruling have settled that the 349 crowns, which is what they're calling the caps, bearing the wrong security code are not winners. Hence, the petitioner PCPPI is not liable to pay the amounts printed on the crowns to their holders, nor is PCPPI liable for damages thereon. So the Supreme Court ended up ruling in favor of Pepsi and said you don't have to pay anybody anything, actually. So I'm sure some of those people who didn't take the 500 pesos were like, fuck, I should have just taken the 500 pesos.
Yeah,
at this
literally.
point. And then more scandal broke when allegedly, so there were like 3 guys, they were called like the 3 kings or something like that were found to be at the center of a lot of like the violent riots and protests. And one of them, after the fact, said that he had actually been paid by Pepsi to make these protests and to make the winners seem unhinged and like they were violent and that they were extremists so that the courts would rule in the favor of Pepsi.
Sounds familiar.
And he said he had to come forward with it because he felt so guilty about the people who had died in some of the more violent attacks.
Yeah.
And that he had helped incite them.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's also conspiracy that Coke might have been involved in aggravating.
Not Coke.
Allegedly.
Don't say this to me. I love Coke. Coca-Cola.
Girl, I've got bad news about what Coca-Cola does.
No, I know. Just don't. Shut up.
That's why we got to pressure them to be better. But so there were some allegations that Coke also had paid like people to incite riots or incite violence or to throw grenades and stuff like that to make Pepsi look bad. But the real conspiracy that people tend to believe and like lean towards is that Pepsi did pay some of these like local gangsters to cause trouble to make the people who were asking, like demanding things seem unreasonable. And so that the courts would rule with Pepsi over the violent rioters, right?
Yeah.
Which like, once, like you said,
sounds
like
familiar.
something we've seen before. Yeah.
I think I've seen this play before. What is it?
I think I've seen this film before. And I didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the story of the Pepsi Number Fever and how you can get 349'd.
I don't want to get 349.
I don't want to get 349'd.
Maybe that's why they had to call in America's pop princess, get Britney Spears on the line.
Oh, I was gonna say, actually, so ironically, one of the reasons that they started this campaign was because Madonna had been their spokesperson like the year before, and they had paid like $6 million for her to like do her thing, and then she released like a virgin, and there was huge backlash against her.
Oh, of course.
And so they were like, well, we just invested like $6 million in Madonna to be our spokeslady, and then she immediately like talks about touching herself like fucking.
Hey, that's a great song.
And like obviously she's dressed in all this like iconic Christian and Catholic imagery, which upset people, you know, similar like we were talking about with Dogma, right? Yeah. So
they were like, call in Britney.
They were like, we got to make this back up. We don't know how to do it. And that's where Pepsi Fever came in. I would assume that CEO maybe got in trouble. He was but a wee lad.
A wee lad. Well, sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck, man. I would be so I also would be bitter for the rest of my life if I thought I won a like life-changing amount of money and there was like some loophole that I didn't get it.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, that would also drive me to the brink of violence and
anger. I don't blame them for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
Wow. I had never heard that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I like knew a little bit about it, but hadn't really looked. I didn't think there would be enough for a story, and then I was reading all the details. I was like, holy moly. Yeah.
Well, Pepsi,
count your days.
Count your gosh darn days.
Just kidding. I love Mountain Dew so much. Can you please make a Mountain Dew Baja Blast with no caffeine? Please, 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 please. Okay.
Honestly, kind of surprising that more sodas don't have like a caffeine free.
Yeah, because then you can drink them at night too.
Yeah.
See, I'm opening up a whole new market to you right now.
Hello. Pepsi, give her a call. What are you doing?
Yeah, decaf is killing it. Decaf coffee's killing it.
We'll delete this episode right now, Pepsi.
We're holding this episode ransom. We're no better than you.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for listening. All right, my beautiful love. What are you going to tell me about today?
I'm your beautiful love.
Of course.
Wow.
You have been for years.
Wow. That made me feel really good today.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. All right. So today we're going to talk about the Stratford Poltergeist.
Oh, you know I love a poltergeist.
Who doesn't?
That's like one of my favorite types of hauntings because there's just so much going on there.
There's a lot going on.
Because you're like, are they scheming? Are they scamming? Is this a demon?
Yes.
Is it an angry spirit? Like there's so many options
And
to
that's
explore.
always the question.
Uh-huh.
And that is also going to be the question today as well. How did you know?
I may or may not have heard about this story previously.
I do think it's funny that that's always the question. It's like, is it a hoax or is it a demon? It's one or the other.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's either the worst thing in the world or someone is evil.
There's no in between.
Either way, something evil is happening.
Yeah, literally. Either the human's evil or the demon's evil. We don't know which one.
There's really no winning here, people.
So my sources for today were AmericanHauntingsInc.com, Faxology.com, HauntedHouses.com, HauntedHouses.com,
Okay.
which none of these had actual names. It was just...
Yeah, a lot of like blogs, if it's like a thing.
So then we have a blog post on JudeMcCallan.com, DamnedConnecticut.com by Ray Benedici.
I've used Banned Connecticut or Damned Connecticut.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, that damned Connecticut, they're damned. And then USGhostAdventures.com.
Perfect.
Classic. So the main character of our story today is a man named Reverend Phelps. He was born in Belchertown, Massachusetts, but he was living in Philadelphia with his wife and 3 children until his wife, Sarah, sadly passed away in 1845. A year after his wife died, Reverend Phelps remarries another woman.
1 year.
1 year. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
She's also a widow, but she's a lot younger than Reverend Phelps.
Oh, shocker.
And she has 3 kids of her own, and her name is also Sarah.
Oh, my God.
Which, like, all of that is just kind of strange.
Freud is just salivating hearing about all this.
Literally.
Was his mom's name also Sarah?
Like, his ex-wife is Sarah. They have 3 kids. She dies, and then he just remarries another Sarah with 3 kids.
I don't think you call it an ex-wife when they die.
Do you not?
I don't know. Like, if a guy was like, I have an ex-wife, and then you found out she was dead, wouldn't you be like, oh, you have a dead wife, not an ex-wife?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make more sense. But
But
also,
I don't know, like,
but
what-
also, it's also an ex too at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
She's dead.
They're
I don't
not
know.
still together.
That's a rough one.
That is a rough one.
So allegedly, Reverend Phelps and his I don't know why I said allegedly, but they did have a 4th kid together.
He's very litigious. The 4th child.
Yeah. But the name is never like included, so we don't know that kid's name, and also that kid is just not often discussed. So I think that's why I said allegedly.
Okay.
But apparently that did happen. So at this point, his other kids, 3 kids from his previous marriage, they're grown. They're living on their own. And now he's back to having these young children around, because he's older. He's like 60. And now he has a 16-year-old.
This is like your dad.
Yeah, no, literally my
Yeah.
dad. Yeah. He has a 16-year-old stepdaughter named Anna, an 11-year-old stepson named Henry, and then another stepdaughter named Hannah, who was 6. So now he's like, okay, we got to get a bigger house, because I was not prepared to have children again this.
Totally.
So in 1948, the Phelps moved to Stratford, Connecticut, and he had been searching the area for the perfect home for him and his new family for a while, and eventually he finds it at 1738 Elm Street.
Come on. You can't make this stuff up, kids.
So this will possibly, maybe, become a nightmare on Elm Street.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, so the family moves in and all is well, sort of. Apparently Mrs. Phelps, she didn't really like Stratford, like the area, and she wasn't quite getting along with the neighbors in the area. And then her oldest daughter, Anna, who was 16, she starts dealing with what is described as a nervous condition, quote unquote.
Okay.
I think that's just anxiety.
Yes.
So I don't know why every article calls it a nervous condition.
Well, because back then that's what it was called.
Yeah, but it's basically just anxiety. So she's dealing with a lot of emotions, a lot of hormones. She's fucking 16 years old. Like, we all dealt with that.
Yeah.
It sucks. But either way, Sarah and Anna, they're both kind of going through some shit. They're under a lot of stress in the first few years after they move into the house. Reverend Phelps, at the time, he was like a very spiritual person. So he was into spiritualism.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I hope so. He's a fucking reverend.
Well, no, like kind of mysticism, spiritualism.
Well, we've talked about this. This was a time when there was kind of a weird melding between religion and spiritualism.
Yes.
Like ghosts and God existed in the same idea for a lot of these people.
Yeah. And like specifically in this time, like this is
Yes.
when the spiritualist movement, I think, was really
especially
hopping
in that area
Yeah.
of the United States.
Yeah, it was like the East Coast, like 1850s-ish was
absolutely.
the spiritualist movement. So he was really into it. And on March 4th, 1850, he had now been in the house for almost 2 years. And he has a friend over who is also into spiritual stuff and mysticism. And they decide that they're going to sit in the parlor and conduct a seance just for fun.
Okay.
For funsies.
Yeah, been there, done that.
And during this seance, the two of them claimed that they heard like some tapping in the room, but ultimately nothing noteworthy really happened. Like they didn't communicate with any spirits or anything. They just heard some like minor tapping here and there. So they kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then a few days after this weird little seance that the two of them have, it's now Sunday, March 10th, and the Phelps family goes to Sunday morning mass at church. And when they come home, they see that every single door in and around the house are all completely wide open.
You got to move immediately.
That's it for you? That would be it for me,
Not
too.
for me, but like for the common folk, yeah, absolutely, you got to go.
No, that would absolutely. One
Yeah.
door could be open, and I'd be like, I gotta go.
Oh, I remember one time I told you that sometimes at night my kitchen cabinets will open and close and I can hear them and I'll walk out and they'll all be open and you were like, how are you alive?
No, that would get me to move
Yeah.
instantly. Yeah. So when they see this, that every single door just appears to be open, this specifically shocks Reverend Phelps because he had made sure that the maid had locked up the entire house, which when this happens, it usually involves shutting all the doors to every single room and locking and shutting the windows and the outside doors before.
Okay, so the front door was open too?
Everything.
Okay.
Every single door was open.
That's no good.
Inside, outside. Not great.
Not good.
So his first thought is someone broke into the house. So he has the kids and Sarah stay outside and he's like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to investigate, see if there's anyone lurking around. And when he enters the house, it definitely looks like someone burglarized their home.
Okay, so stuff is awry.
Yes, furniture is tipped over, books are scattered everywhere, dishes were smashed on the ground. And then he sees that his like fancy gold watch and the really expensive like family silver are kind of just like out in the living room.
So the stuff people would want to steal.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah. And there's like
Okay.
some loose cash kind of just like chilling out in plain sight. So he's like, that's really weird. Like someone would have taken those things if they had come in to steal.
Yeah.
So now he's like, they could still be in the house. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume.
So he goes upstairs and he starts checking out the bedrooms and he's still like on edge. He doesn't know if there's someone chilling in the house or not. And when he walks into his bedroom, he sees laid out on the bed one of his wife's nightgowns and her stockings. And they were kind of like draped across the bed, like when someone puts clothes out for you to change into.
Yeah.
And it almost looked like someone was laying on the bed, the way that like the nightgown and the stockings were laid
Oh,
out.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, disgusting.
I hate that.
Disgusting.
That's like really upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't thrown on the bed. It was neatly laid out there. The sleeves were even folded over each other on the chest area.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, once again, if someone was coming in to rob you, why would they do that?
And not take the stuff that's worth money.
Yeah. So at this point, you know, Reverend Phelps, he already had scattered the area, looked around everywhere, doesn't see anybody, and the family decides to come back inside the house. And they start to try to put their house back together because, like I said, everything is awry. Everything is thrown all over the place. So they're trying to clean up. So they had gone to church. They came home. A couple hours later, they were actually going to go head back out to go to like another mass. I guess they were like religious folks. I don't
These
know.
people fucking love church.
They love church. I don't know. So when they leave, when Sarah and the kids leave, Reverend Phelps is like, I'm going to stay behind just in case the burglars see you guys leave and they come back.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be ready for them.
Yeah. So like, because they're going to be like, the house is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Time to go back in and
Time to get
more,
that shit.
touch more fucking nightgowns or whatever.
Exactly. And not actually take anything.
Yeah, genuinely.
So he goes into his study. He gets out his little pistol from his box that he would keep hidden. And he sat there waiting for the burglars to come back. After some time, he's like, he doesn't hear anything. He's like, okay, maybe no one's coming back in. And he decides to come out of his study. And he's walking around the first floor. And then he opens the door that leads into the dining room. And when he opens this door, he is very surprised and shocked to see a crowd of 11 women standing in the dining room.
Okay.
So what he sees is 11 women. They're kind of in a circle position, and they were all in different like religious devotion positions. So some of them were standing up holding Bibles. Some of them were kneeling in like a prayer position with their head to the ground. And they were, like I said, spread out in a circle formation.
Okay.
So Reverend Phelps kind of just stands in the doorway assessing the situation. Like, what the fuck am I
going on?
witnessing right now? And after a few moments, when his eyes kind of like realize what he's seeing, he notices that these women are not real.
Yeah.
So they're like mannequins almost, or like sculptures that were made to look like women that were made out of the family's clothes, furniture, and other materials around the house.
I hate that.
Like,
I hate that so much.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, he had already checked out this room when he first got home from the original
And hadn't
mass,
seen anything.
and it was empty. There was nobody there. So these like fake women sculptures were somehow made, like created and placed into this dining room without him hearing or seeing anything in that small amount of time that the family had left or came home and then left to go back to church.
Okay.
And they're like life size. They're in different, like I said, different positions.
Yeah,
they're,
it would
they're
take
filled,
like hours and hours.
Yeah, they're like their clothing filled with rags and stuff to stuff them up to look like people.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
Horrifying.
And then in the middle of the room of these like 11 fake women that were circling in a circle, whatever, was like a small puppet creature that was hanging from a cord that the Reverend claimed looked like some sort of demonic entity.
Okay.
Now, to me, that would be gotta move.
You gotta leave.
Yeah, I'm not staying in that house.
No, you can't stay there.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Come on. That's a step or two too far.
There could be one of these sculptures.
Oh,
and I would have left.
one freaky mannequin wearing my clothes.
Gotta go.
Got to go. GTG, baby.
Yeah.
BRB, NVR. Am I right?
Never. So although this is like, you know, obviously extremely strange, extremely freaky situation that Reverend Phelps had experienced, at this point he's still kind of like, okay, maybe like this is someone that broke into my house and they're playing a prank on the family. Like this can't be real.
It's like somebody who fucking hates me doing this weird shit.
And on top of all the other stuff that like the furniture tipped over and everything, like someone just broke in.
Yeah.
But then over the next few days, shit around the house really starts to ramp up, and it does this in front of the entire family. So we start out with kind of the classic hauntings, objects being thrown across the room, seemingly from nowhere, spoons, forks, even knives are, flying around the kitchen.
Classic poltergeist.
Yeah, classic situation. At one point, an umbrella is thrown across the room, and then sheets start being pulled off of the beds. But then things really start to escalate. So the family claims to have seen a spoon levitate in the air and then bend, as well as plates, napkins, books, pens, pillows, and all sorts of other things fly around in front of everyone. Couches and chairs would rear up on only 2 legs like a horse does.
Okay, Beauty and the Beast.
Wait, ready for the next thing I said?
What?
I literally wrote, I'm picturing that these items were cursed by an old woman, and this is Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And the objects are alive, and they're singing, and they're dancing to the Phelps family, and this is a Be Our Guest situation.
Yeah, it's like that fainting couch in Beauty and the Beast that's like...
Yeah, or the little, what is it, the leg rest or whatever?
The ottoman,
it's a dog.
yeah.
Oh, so cute. No, but that's literally what I was picturing. I'm like, all these like things are just swirling in the air, and then they just start singing. And they're like, be our guest, be our guest.
We can't sing more because Disney is litigious.
Yes, and you can only sing for a couple seconds.
Disney will find us.
But that would be like a fun thing if they sang.
Yeah, if they sang instead of trying to kill you or whatever.
Scary. It
whatever
might be
the
scary.
demons are up to.
Yeah, but that's allegedly that's not what happened.
Alleged.
Here. I don't know.
Allegedly,
no one sang. I don't know what to tell you guys. Then things started to materialize out of thin air. So one day the family is sitting at the kitchen table, and what do you think fucking just drops from the ceiling smack dab in the center of the table?
A bent spoon?
A potato.
A potato flew around my room. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
a fucking potato.
Okay, so maybe friend.
Or foe.
If you're bringing me a potato, I assume friend.
That's fair. That's fair. I would also think friend. So this potato just fucking clanks down in the middle of the kitchen table, literally from nowhere, from the ceiling. And they're like, what the fuck is going on here? And this just continues to happen over the course of the next few months. And now we switch from potatoes, and even more vegetables start to appear into this house.
Maybe this poltergeist is just like worried about the family's fiber intake.
They're like, you got to eat your veggies.
They're like, you guys are eating little to no fiber. Do you not know that colon cancer is real?
That's true.
Okay, we need to get some stuff moving and shaken. There was
also,
no Olipop back then, so they had to just drop veggies.
That's true. And it's like the 1850s when like everyone just dies of like random diseases all the time.
Yeah, they didn't even know what fiber was.
Yeah, so they're like, we really got to get some good shit in you guys because you never know
eat
what
these
can happen.
Potatoes, eat a broccoli, eat a onion. I don't know.
Yeah. So turnips and beets really seem to have been the thing that this entity was into.
All right. I get down with both of those.
Yeah. So these things start to materialize. And when they kind of pop up out of nowhere, they have strange symbols carved on the outside of them.
Oh, less good.
Yeah, like no one knew what
Less
they
good.
were.
Yeah.
But you can't, I don't know, you probably don't want to eat the ones that have the symbols on them.
Listen, beggars can't be choosers.
Listen, they're trying to save you.
If I need a baked potato, I need a baked potato. Ungodly things happening to the skin or not.
And also, like, how do you know that the strange symbol just didn't say, like, eat me? It's good for you.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know?
The strange symbol could have been like, whoever eats this has eternal life.
Ooh, yes.
Whoever eats this
gets a lot of fiber and is not going to die from colon cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sold to the highest bidder.
I would definitely eat it after that for sure. One of the more like surprising things, I mean, there's a lot of weird surprising things that the family witnessed, but they all at one point see these like vegetables with those weird symbols on the outside of it rise up out of the carpet like it was coming out of it like the design of the carpet. Does that make sense?
Okay, wait. The symbols were on the carpet?
No,
or
no,
the
no.
vegetables
The vegetables.
Why were the vegetables on the carpet?
I don't think there was actual vegetables on the carpet. I think it just rose up out of it in a way that it was like the design was rising up. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No, if I can be honest
Okay.
with you.
I don't. That's just what every article said, and I couldn't really fathom what that was.
So are there or are there not vegetables involved?
There's vegetables involved.
Okay.
They see vegetables
So
rise up out of the carpet.
Okay, so these are phantom vegetables.
Yes.
Creating symbols while rising out of the carpet.
Right.
Got it. Okay, there we are. Now
Okay.
we are. I'm there. I'm right there with you.
And then the family said before they could read what the weird symbols on these vegetables were, they would vanish into thin air.
Okay. It's a very health conscious ghost.
Yeah, listen, I'm just reading the facts. I don't know what to tell you.
The straight confirmed facts.
I can't explain it to you, but I can tell you what happened.
She's not a scientist. Get off her back.
I can't tell you how this happened, but I can tell you that the Phelps family said it happened, okay? So after all this absolutely bonkers, insane shit is going down, Mrs. Phelps is like, baby, can you get someone here to like help us? Because this is getting out of control. And I'm starting to get a little scared, you know?
Fair.
So he calls his friend, who's a retired minister. His name is Reverend John Mitchell. And he's like, can you come here and check out my house? Because all this shit is happening. He tells him everything. So John Mitchell comes and he's like, okay, this is obviously just your children like playing tricks on you guys. Like, come on. Like, why are you so stupid? And when he's there, obviously he witnesses for himself things moving around the home. He ends up locking all the children in a room at one point because he's like, you guys are the ones doing this. I know
As you should.
I know you guys are doing this. I'm going to lock you in this room right now. And then to his surprise, even after he locks the kids in the room, he still sees a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So from here, the family is kind of asking more and more people to come over to help them with this. And the more people that they're asking to come over, obviously, the more the word is getting out around town. And now it's getting picked up from, you know, newspapers and reporters who are now also very interested in coming to see what's happening in this house.
Yeah. It's going viral.
This is the 1850 version of viral. Absolutely. So because of this, Reverend Phelps' son from his original marriage, Austin, he hears about what's going on, literally because he read it in the fucking newspaper.
And he's like a grown up at this point.
He's a grown-ass man. He actually hadn't had much of a relationship with the Reverend after he got remarried to Sarah because she was like so much younger than him.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that Austin was like, okay, this is weird. It also happened, once again, a year after his mom died. So he kind of wasn't really interested in the whole ordeal. So he hadn't communicated with his dad that much. Okay, so Austin, after reading in the paper about his dad, he's kind of like, motherfucker, like, you ruined my life already. Now you're ruining it even more. Mm-hmm. He's like a well-respected professor. And now his family name is being tossed all over the fucking media and in a negative light because obviously this family, you know, oh, this family is being haunted. Is it a hoax? We don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Like people are talking. So he's like, I gotta go to this house and see what's going on. So him and his uncle Abner Phelps, they go to the house together and they're trying to be like, we're going to just prove once and for all this is a big hoax because we're getting pissed. So during their time at the house, they start hearing a very loud pounding or knocking sound coming from the knocker that's on the front door, like one of those old school, like lion head knockers.
Oh, I love those things.
Yeah, that most people don't have today, but we know what they are. So Abner is like, okay, I'm going to stand behind the door on the inside and you're going to stand behind the door on the outside and so we can see if anyone.
Yeah, we have eyes on both ends.
Yeah. So they stand there for quite a bit of time and eventually they both hear the pounding.
while having eyes on each side.
Correct. With
Okay.
no source of where it is coming from, but it absolutely sounds like the knocker is knocking.
Got it. Okay.
Then during the night, they both start to hear this loud knocking or banging sound again, but this time it sounds like it's coming from Anna, the 16-year-old's room, like on her door. So they're like, okay, she's obviously the one behind this. She's the one doing it. So they go into her room, they burst into the room, and she's asleep. And they're like, okay, it's obviously not her. As they start to walk away, they hear the knocking again. So they turn around, burst into the room again, and Austin says at this point what he saw was the young lady was in bed, covered up and out of reach of the door. We examined the panel and found dents where it had been struck. So they could
somebody
see,
had been banging.
Yeah, they see the dents on the door, like firsthand. The next morning, Austin and Abner, that's a weird name, Abner left the house, unable to fully determine exactly what was taking place in that house. So at this point, months have gone by. There's noises, there's things flying around the house. We have the weird sculptures of people that have been popping up around the house. At this point, there had now been 30 different figures that have popped up, all made out of the family's clothes.
Disgusting.
And objects and all that stuff. And some of them were so realistic that the youngest kids would often think that their mom was in a room praying because the sculpture was wearing her clothes.
No, absolutely not.
And there was one day when a reporter came in and he walked into a room and sees this, what he thought was a woman praying.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngest son goes, "Shh, be still. Ma is praying."
Ugh, God.
And then they find out it's
Not at all.
actually their mom. So all of that's been happening. Obviously, that's already fucking creepy and weird, and you should probably have left your house way long ago. But there hadn't been any physical contact with any of the family members.
Yet.
Until this entity seems to start to target the children. So Anna, she starts to get slapped by unseen hands. And at one point, a reporter saw Anna's arm get jerked and twisted, and she screamed out like she had been hit or pinched. And then when the reporter rolled up her sleeve, they saw red marks and welts forming on her arm. And then Henry, the 11-year-old, he starts to get targeted, and way worse than Anna. He gets slapped, pinched. He gets hit with flying rocks. A witness claimed to have seen Henry get carried out of his bed by an invisible force and then thrown onto the floor. And then a different time, multiple witnesses claimed to see Henry levitate off the ground like he was being pulled up by his trousers to the ceiling, and his hair brushed the top of the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
And multiple people claim to have seen this.
Yeah.
And then this escalated so badly that on 2 different occasions, he had been found tied up in a tree with no knowledge of how he got there.
Okay, brother.
And then on another occasion, he was found in a closet with a rope around his neck.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Talk about a threat.
So I'm sorry, time to get the fuck out. Time to move.
Absolutely.
What are you? There's no excuse at this point. But Reverend Phelps was like, no. And he wanted answers to what was in their home. So he and his friend, his other reverend friend, the other guy, they start to regularly perform seances to communicate with this entity. So it starts off with the knocking system, which was 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no, and they would ask it questions here and there. And then eventually this entity starts to be able to write words on pieces of paper and drop them down from the ceiling, materialize it.
Okay.
So when they asked the entity what it wanted, he wrote out on a piece of paper that materialized from the ceiling and dropped onto the table, "I want pumpkin pie."
Same, brother.
Don't we all?
Mood.
And then when they asked, okay, why are you doing this to the family? What is your angle? Another piece of paper dropped and it said, "For fun."
Also same.
So whatever this thing was, it really just wanted to mess with the family at this point. Another piece of paper read that this was a demon from hell. And soon the entity started to sign its papers with a couple different names. So it either was Sam Slick, Beelzebub, or HP Devil.
HP Devil.
Which that's my favorite one.
That's very funny.
He's like, I'm HP Devil.
That's my street name.
So one afternoon, Anna, the 16-year-old, she is walking past the parlor and she sees 3 men sitting in chairs around the table. So her stepdad, the Reverend, he had so many people in and out of the parlor all the time, like doing seances. So she just thought it was like some of her stepdad's friends.
Mm-hmm.
So she went over to greet them. And one of the men pops his head up, leans over the side of the chair to reach her, and falls, slams into the ground, and disappears in front of her face.
Sure, why not?
So she starts to scream, and then the other 2 men that were sitting at the table also vanish.
Okay.
And once again, this poor girl, they already said in the beginning of the story that she had anxiety issues or whatever they called it.
She's of a weak constitution or whatever.
So like I can't imagine what she's dealing with after this. But after months of this family now being attacked, like physically attacked, they finally decide to leave the house and they move to Philadelphia for the winter months. And luckily, once they moved, just for that couple of months, nothing had followed them over there. And then in the spring, when they were set to go back to Stratford, nothing else unusual had happened. Like the entity just completely went away.
Huh, interesting.
And the family lived in that same house for the next 8 years until 1858, when Sarah died of uterine cancer.
Oh, sad.
In 1859, Reverend Phelps sold the house to the founder of the New York Sun, Moses Beach. And then in the 1940s, it was sold again and turned into a nursing home. And by 1970, the house was completely boarded up and abandoned.
Man, they stay like trying to keep weird haunted historic stuff as like nursing homes and like
always
boarding schools and stuff.
Always. Listen, they got to do what they got to do.
They're like, what happened there? The worst thing in the world. Let's send a bunch of high schoolers there.
Yeah, or old people.
Let's send a bunch of old people there.
So what the heck happened here in the Phelps house during the 1850s? Because all of the activity seemed to completely stop after they went to Philadelphia. So this kind of inclined, more and more people to believe that this whole thing was a hoax. But if it was a hoax, what was the angle?
And also, if it was a hoax, why wouldn't they just be like, see, the second we came back, it's the same,
Yeah, like what would they have gotten out of this?
I guess if they got tired of doing the hoax, I don't know. Yeah, it's not like nowadays where like, oh, maybe we'll go viral on YouTube.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what did they really want out of this? A lot of the people think that it was the kids, Anna and Henry, because they think like maybe they were pissed that the mom was marrying this old man and they made them move to a new town. Because when they did return to the house in the spring of 1851, Anna didn't come back with them. She like went to boarding school or something. So they were like, okay, well, maybe Henry was like, I can't do this stuff by myself anymore. Like I don't have my partner in crime to help me. So that was also like a big thing where people were like, see, it was a hoax after all.
Yeah, like it takes 2 of us to do this.
Or was this house actually haunted? And when Reverend Phelps did his first original seance on March 4th, that kind of opened the door for whatever this entity was to come into the house.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And the entity was like, fuck you, motherfucker. Here I am. Be our guest. Be our guest. Dun, dun, dun.
You've been cut off.
So the staff of the nursing home actually reported that they heard voices and whispering down dark hallways and unexplained knocks and doors opening and closing on their own for like the full 20 years that it was open.
Yeah.
And then allegedly in 1951, after the house was abandoned, the police saw a little girl in the window and they ran inside and chased her up to the 3rd floor and then she vanished in front of them.
Interesting.
Which to me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Sold.
haunted. I'm done. That's haunted.
To the highest bidder.
So unfortunately, we most likely will never know the truth here, if it was a hoax or if it was an actual haunting. But the Stratford Poltergeist will live on.
I'm giving it the stamp. Haunted.
Haunted.
Absolutely.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah.
Because like if multiple people witness this shit, and like people came out, like reporters came out and said, yeah, I saw this fucking little boy Henry fly up to the ceiling. Like, come on. How do you fake that?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Haunted.
Stamp of approval.
That's right. If Cassidy says it, that's
It's
how you
been
know it's
stamped.
true.
You guys aren't allowed to change
No.
my stamp ratings.
It was already stamped, guys.
It's been stamped. It's going to stay stamped.
You can't take that away.
You can't take that back.
No, sorry.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You know, I love a poltergeist story.
Same.
Nothing like an intelligent haunting to get your bones shaken on a Wednesday afternoon.
That's right. It's Thursday.
No. But this comes out on a Wednesday.
Oh. I don't even know when my own podcast comes out.
She's out of control. Who is that? Is that Amanda? Someone give me some holy water.
It's not me.
Well, how about we finish this up with a listener story?
Let's do that.
So this is going to be from Evie.
Hi, Evie.
And Evie says, hello, Cassidy and Amanda. I've been a huge fan of the podcast for quite a while now, and I really enjoy the inclusion of listener stories. I like knowing that I'm not just crazy.
You're not.
Speaking to the choir.
I can stamp that.
Anyway, this story isn't super spooky, but it's kind of sweet. I first got my cat Butters, a very nosy orange cat, when my family lived overseas in Africa for about 2 years. His mother was run over by a truck, and he was the only kitten picked up and taken in by my landlord. My sibling and I, who were very much younger at the time, immediately went over when we heard about the kitten on the property. And surprisingly, the landlord just gave him to us. After a year of having him, my family eventually moved to the U.S., and we settled down in a nice suburban neighborhood. I had some paranormal experiences when I lived in Africa, and they apparently stuck with me when I moved to the U.S. It was probably around 6:30 in the morning. I had showered and gotten dressed in my room, and just as I was leaving, I saw and felt something brush between my legs.
Oh, no.
It was quick and quiet and right down the stairs. The creature was white, and although I barely caught a glimpse, it was a small, cat-like figure. I had immediately assumed it was my cat after I recovered from the initial shock that I felt, but when I looked across the hallway, there I saw Butters, coming out of my sister's room.
Fucking Butters.
Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I like to think that it was my cat's mom looking around the new territory to make sure that he was safe. Or perhaps she's been tagging along this whole time. I still live in that house and have experienced so much way weirder and way more paranormal things since then. Whispering in my ear, seeing people in my yard, getting touched, scratched, etc. But I think that one in itself was quite harmless and only a little spooky. Evie. Oh, Evie, we want the rest of your stories.
I do want the rest of your stories, but I'm glad you started with a sweet,
the cute one that Amanda would like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Definitely Butters' mommy.
Coming in being like, where did you take my son? My only surviving son? Okay, I guess it looks fine here.
Oh.
I guess he'll thrive in the suburbs. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if you would like to share a story with us, you can do that at dtkpod.com/contact. Or use our email address, which is also on dtkpod.com. If you are a Patreon member, make sure you send that through the Patreon DM method, because then we kind of like boost you up. Mm-hmm. And just thank you guys so much for listening.
We love you.
We love you. If you want to find our Patreon or our social media, which there will be pictures and videos from today's episode on, you can do that at dtkpod.com. And we just totally dig you. But most importantly, make sure you keep that front door locked.
Make sure you keep your mind open.
And keep drinking the Kool-Aid.